Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're covering the Five of Wands. Big card, really kind of contentious. Hard to look at this one and not go, okay. So we'll talk about ways to not do that as well. So here we go. Five of Wands. We've done one, we've done two, we've done three, we've done four. Now you're not quite halfway through the suit, but you're halfway through the numbers. So now we're starting to get into the real deal. And so this card can talk about a few things. One, just that. You're getting into the real deal. This is going to line up like your main antagonist, if you will. Maybe talk about some of the main conflicts of your goal, through the story we've been weaving through the suit. Unrelated to that in its progression through the suit, it can also just be talking a lot about resistance or things getting in your way, things coming to a head. So let's kind of break those down a little bit for you, starting with the main antagonist point. So actually this just came to me just now when I was looking at my card, because I've seen this one plenty of times. It's wild. It's got dragons and knights with wands in the sky, like wizards, and they're all fighting. So super like nerdy imagery. I love it. But I didn't notice that all the dragons are different colors. So this time around, it's like, oh wow, like if you put all five of those colors together, keeping with my nerd theme here, you kind of get the legendary dragon Tiamat with the five colored heads. I was like, wow, like that kind of to me really brings this idea of five parts coming together as the main force that opposes you, like the main dragon that you're going to be trying to take down. Not to pick on dragons, I love dragons, but they do usually tend to represent the challenge ahead or the capstone project that you have to get through, right? You have to go through the dragon to get the gold kind of idea. So that's one way to look at it. The five parts being, you might not necessarily be encountering the capstone challenge for your project just yet at this point, but some of the resistance that you're facing that is ultimately tied to that antagonistic figure, if that makes sense, hopefully. Also, it can just talk about resistance in general, so it doesn't even need to be talking about contextualizing who's bringing you this resistance or why things are coming to a head. It can just talk about unnecessary resistance or unnecessary fighting. Just fights that didn't need to happen, don't need to happen, signs that are showing you this isn't working out, this team, these people don't work well together, these coworkers, maybe try to organize the group a little differently if you can. The approach, the method that you're going with right now is creating a lot of turbulence. Do you really need to do that? Is it really worth the effort because it's gonna be turbulent? Maybe try to take like lots of traffic on that route, take some back roads kind of deal. The card can also just try to tell you no, like a very simple you're asking a question that's really complicated, and I think the way that you're asking it is kind of so in this way it's actually kind of special. It's one of the few cards that can actually kind of be a little bit more meta, to directly tell you as the reader, not clear. This is not a clear question. The answer is not clear. This is not going to come through so easily. The Five of Wands depends on the context of the cards around it really heavily. I mean, you could go so many directions with this card. It could, a positive twist on it is it could be the thrill of the fight. It could be yeah, you're about to take a huge dive into something that's scary, and it might not be easy, but it's going to be so satisfying and so fun when you get to the other side. You're going to love it. You're going to fly through the sky on these crazy dragons. It's going to be a great time. The normal card doesn't have fancy dragons, obviously, but kind of illustrates the same image of different egos battling over it, and actually it's probably a good way to put it, egotistical battle. So probably the last point I would stick on this is to ask the question, what's actually the point of what you're contesting? What are you actually trying to prove here? Do you need to prove that? Is that, are you trying to prove yourself because you're insecure? And so you're doing a lot of extra work and a lot of leg work because you have to show why you matter or why your stake in this matters. It's like, hey, you already matter. Your stake has already mattered from the beginning. It always will. It does inherently. So you don't need to go out of your way to do extra things to show why you're capable or why you're worthy. Yeah, maybe looking at self-worth and saying, hey, you're doing things really hard. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself that you don't need to. There's a way easier way to go about this. So there's going to be some more positive twists on this card. If anything, the too long didn't read is, if you see this card, maybe take a minute and stop and just kind of process and ask some questions about, okay, Why am I getting resistance? What's the bigger picture here? How can we navigate this? Is this necessary? Hopefully that ties it together. This one, sorry, the video's a little longer. This card is complex. We could go on for like 20 more minutes diving into it. But thanks again for tuning in, y'all. I really appreciate you. And we'll see you next time for the 6 of Wands. Yes.